What's up, guys? It's a brand new year. You made it through 2020. Congratulations. It was pretty much a shit show, so I'm sure your gym probably closed down like mine did, and you were shit out of luck. Had to build a home gym, a lot of rudimentary stuff, and a lot of really unorthodox training. But the thing is, we're back at it again. Stuff's starting to open it up. It's a new year, so I'm sure you have some new goals to go ahead and get started with. I want to start you off on the right foot so you don't get injured learning some bro science-y garbage from whatever commercial gym you're training at. So let's get started with how to bench properly, deadlift properly, and squat properly, so that way you can make good progress, sustainable progress, and the idea is to not get injured. So let's get started, all right? All right, so bench press. Pretty simple, you would think. Now there's a lot of garbage that people do that can put your shoulders at risk and put you in a bad place if you're by yourself or even with a spotter. So the idea, so what we want to do, we want to start off for bodybuilding bench press. This is a little bit different. We have two ways to bench. We have one for bodybuilding, one for power, all right? We're gonna go over bodybuilding first. That's my specialty. I'm not a power lifter, but I know how to do it. What we wanna do is have a nice wide stance, like that. If we're nice and narrow, we're gonna be loosey-goosey, you're gonna fall off the bench, probably not a good idea. Nice and wide. What you wanna do, lean back, and since I have extremely long arms, I go pretty wide. You're usually gonna wanna find the ring on your barbell, and either measure it with your pinky or your ring finger. The last thing I like to do to set the arch on the low back is to pull your forehead to the bar and do a little pull-up. Once you're pinching your shoulder blades together, set yourself back down. What I want you to do is imagine a diamond. Those shoulder blades need to be tight, flat, and pressed together, because if you start shifting around, that's where you're gonna jack your shoulder up. So nice and flat, do your pull-up, set your arch, back down, rack it up, and I want you to imagine like you're benching in a Smith machine. Nice A to B, nice clean, straight line, right at the bottom of the chest, all right? Set your arch, lift it up, straight line. Touch the chest, back up. All right. Okay, so another tip for you guys to stabilize this bar better on bench press, I want you to imagine bending it into an arc. I want you to tuck your elbows in nice and close and use more of your triceps, because it's a chest press, right? What happens is a lot of people start to press up here. This is all on your shoulder. That's terrible for your shoulder. You're gonna tear your rotator cuff that way and possibly injure yourself worse. If you're down here, you're actually activating your chest and your pec fibers. If you're up here, you're just putting yourself at risk. Another thing that'll help with your grip is making sure that you choose the right finger. If you're too wide, that's also gonna put you at a disadvantage, as if you're too close, you're gonna use too much triceps. Close grip is an amazing accessory, but for chest, only chest, you wanna make sure that you're going wide enough to be able to activate it. The most important part is selecting the proper clip. This is my least favorite thing in the whole wide world. It's made in China, it has rust on it, and it doesn't really do what you need to do. Right here, this is made by Rogue. It's really overpriced, it's plastic, and it's much easier on your grip. If you overdo it with your grip, you're probably not gonna get as many reps. So use this and make your life much easier. Say no to the cheap stuff. Say yes to the expensive stuff. I'm not sponsored by Rogue yet. All right, my favorite lift, the deadlift. So here's a few cues on how to get started and how to set up. Typically, I like to go with no shoes, so I'm gonna have to get rid of my Kobe's, unfortunately, just for this lift. R.I.P. All right. So, with the socks on, now you can see if you're stepping evenly. You want that straight line. You don't want to be shifted like this, or else your hips are gonna move. Now, where the knurling ends, right here on the smooth part, that's about where you're gonna want to put your shins. Dragging your shins up knurling doesn't feel really good. It's gonna make you bleed a little bit. So, typically, I say about shoulder width for your feet. Point them out at about a 15-degree pronation. Squeeze your toes down like you're about to pick up a shirt off the ground because you're fucking lazy. And then, what I want you to do, take your hands, measure them on the bar. Nice and even on both sides of the knurling. Now remember that part about benching when I want you to bend it into an arc? Do the same thing right now, because you're gonna get more anti-rotational strength, because if that bar rolls in your hands, it's gonna come right out. Squeeze the toes. Pull the slack out of the bar with your lats. Your back. What I want you to see is tightness in the back. I don't want you folded over. I don't want you rounded. That's how you're gonna hurt yourself. Now, if the bar is also too far in front of you, you're gonna be rounded. The idea is to keep it as close as possible to your shins, so that way you can keep a straight line, A to B. Squeeze the toes down, lats tight. Now take a big breath and hold it the entire time until you get to the top. Now that you're back down, slowly release. So the best way to get started is slow and steady. I want you to control the bar. Don't worry about explosive power when you're first getting back and started again. The most important part is to control it. If you can control the bar slow, then you can control the bar quick. Take your time, break down the motion, figure out where you're weak, where you need to work on. Let's talk about sticking points. Off the floor, that's all posterior chain, AKA your ass and hamstrings. Now, if you can't pull it off the floor, you need to do more deficit work. Standing on a platform, prone hamstring curls, everything to get those back muscles, glute extensions, things like that. Those are gonna help you get it off the floor. Once it's past your knees, that's all glutes, that's all your lockout. Your back's already activated, you're already standing up straight. Focus on squeezing those glutes, finish the lift strong, lock it out nice and straight. Okay, so if you like to deadlift with a belt, I do not, because it bruises me and it feels a little uncomfortable, but what I like to do is wear a lever belt. This is customized to the size of your waist. Measure it right above the navel, and then Pioneer will send you a fancy lever belt. So what you want to do, measure your waist, put it on, overlap your belt, tighten it. So you don't want it too tight. You want to be able to get your fingertips inside of the belt. Just a little bit of looseness. You don't want it so tight where you're crushing your intestines, because that's really not going to do any favors for you in the long run. Just enough to fit the fingers in there, because as you exhale, breathe, push against the belt, then that's when the belt tightens up, provides you that extra stability as you're locking out. Now, you can get a cheap ass nylon one that might break your spine when you're trying to squat or deadlift, or you can go online, get a Pioneer that'll last you the rest of your life. This one was customized. You can get a cheap one for 100, or you can get crazy and get one for like 200 bucks. Definitely worth it, made in America, generalleathercraft.com. Also, I'm not sponsored yet. Chalk is the gift from God. It has been scientifically proven to remove bitch assness from your hands and increase your grip by 60%. I don't know if 60% is true. I literally just made that up. All I know is it definitely helps your hands rip and grip when you're going to do a deadlift. When you're done, flick the belt and throw it like Larry Wheels! And then I promise you'll be hitting PRs in no time. All right, the last part about any kind of lift, you want to take your plates off and put them back where they belong. Unless you're at that purple gym where you don't actually even have a fucking barbell to begin with, you don't have to worry about it. But in the real world, in America, being a decent human being, you put your weights back, just like this. Watch, this is the hardest of all the exercises in the entire gym. Take this, see, and there's a slot right there. Just like that. One more, just in case you missed it. Olympic plates from the bottom, pull them out. Effortless, didn't even have to try. So now you can do it next time and not be a dick. All right, I'm actually gonna use collars for this because in a squat it's a lot safer. The plates are a little tighter to the bar, but just in case there's a little hip shift, a little bit of asymmetry, better to train safe than stupid. So collars are always a good idea. So, squats 101. What you want to do, set the bar to about the bottom of your neck, right about there. You don't want it to be too high, but you also don't want to be too low because you want to quarter squat it out of the rack, which is going to fatigue you a little bit. Ideally, you just want to be able to walk it right in and walk it right out. So getting started, same kind of thing with your toes. I like to squat without shoes, barefoot. Some people like to squat in lifters, which give you an elevated, more anterior loaded to the quad. It's really up to you. It's really up to your ankle mobility. So if your coach wants you lifting in lifters, if your coach wants you lifting in flats, it's completely up to you. But I prefer bare feet. I give the analogy that it's like driving a car, a manual in the snow. You feel the gear shift. You feel when you grab the rope. That's why I prefer to squat with bare feet. So, same kind of lineup. Find your rings. Make sure your hands are even. If your hands are uneven, your squat's gonna be trash. Also, make sure you're lined up nice and even in the middle of the bar. Tighten the belt. Under it, lift. Now, we're gonna go slightly wider than shoulder width. I have a pretty wide stance because I have long legs. Now same thing, squeeze your toes down like you're trying to pick up a shirt, press through your heels, your whole foot. Not the heel, not the front of the foot, the whole hood. Big breath in. Back up. All right, so a couple more cues for the squat. We're bending it around our neck. We're trying to wrap it around, keep it real tight. We're still engaging the triceps and that armpit, trying to fold it up. Now, one thing that people find themselves doing is your elbows. If your elbows are up here and you're holding the barbell like this, you're gonna force yourself down and forward instead of upright. So if you're under the bar, stack your arm like this, not like this. If you're under here, your upper back's gonna be a lot tighter, your core's gonna be a lot tighter, versus this, you're gonna fold yourself over into like a pseudo good morning. You see that a lot, and then people have to press themselves from the heels instead of from the flat foot, and then your squat gets all jacked up, your hips might move. A lot of stuff that you don't want is gonna happen is going to happen. So pay attention to your footing, pay attention to the angles of your knees. Your knees are always gonna track 15% grade over the feet like that. Whether you're narrow like that, or whether you're a wide squatter, you always want your knees to track at the same angle as your toes. Oh hi, I didn't see you there. That was an excellent day of training, by the way. Bench, deadlift, and squat. The 3 building blocks of any strength routine. Comment, like, subscribe, share with all your friends, let everybody know, and let me know what you'd like to see next time, what kind of lifts, and any ideas that you might have. See you guys next time.